So, today I'm going to talk to you about how to price your coaching offers. The three-part pricing process first, I'm going to cover. Once we do that, I'm going to talk to you about how to get paid as soon as possible. This is just a separate process that we're going to go through. So, today we're going to talk about money, and that's often a weird topic. Really, I'm an open book when it comes to my coaching business. I like to show people what it's really like to have a business, what it really takes to have a business. And I believe that I'll inspire you not only about the opportunity that is available to you, but just about how much fun it really can be to make money. And honestly, it's easier than you think. The second process that I'm going to share at the very end is the one that I think will get you, many of you who have not been paid, to now becoming paid coaches. And that definitely is my goal. So I am here to break down the steps for pricing. My goal is to make it easy to understand. You will see pricing, I believe, in a new way, and you will never forget it. There'll be no more guessing about how to price. And I believe you're going to feel definitely inspired and ready to price your coaching in a different way. So I'm Debbie Shadid. If we don't know each other, I'm so grateful that you are here. I have been in business over 2 decades. I teach tech, I teach all free marketing, I teach copywriting, which is just basically how do you talk about your coaching? This is probably one of the things that's hardest for people to figure out. Now, you might be able to talk about your coaching easy, but if it's not converting into clients, then I can tell you the clue is the way that you're talking about your coaching isn't good. Okay. If it was good, people would be buying from you. I teach Canva and all kinds of other tech. I help people design an offer. And an offer, by the way, is not just 6 weeks. An offer actually delivers a signature result. And then I share practical steps always about how to grow a business and how to maintain it. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to share two different ways to price. The first one, the CEO pricing, is going to be the three steps that I'm going to go into first. Much more detail on that. That's going to require some additional thought on your part. The second step I will share at the very end is to just get paid as soon as possible. There is this identity shift that happens when you go from not making any money to becoming a coach who has been paid anything. And I'm just telling you what it is, what will happen to your business if we can get you paid sooner is life changing. Honestly, it will change the whole direction of your business the sooner that we get you paid. So that's definitely the goal. Amber was one of our former clients. We talk about her a lot because she has done everything that we've suggested and she continues to touch base with me. And we had this conversation about pricing. And one thing I want to do is not tell anyone what their price should be. While I will discuss it with you and I will help you figure it out, I don't want to be the one to tell you what your price is. Amber, she decided her price that she felt like really honored her. And by the way, it was a brand new beta program at the time. And she decided $4,000 was the best price that anyone could offer on the service that she provided. And so her brand new beta getting started price for her group program was $4,000. And she immediately signed people up. That's just one clue about what I'm going to talk about. Mindset has a lot to do with this. And then these are just other examples of women in our community that have used our pricing process, all who've been paid for their coaching services. The first pricing process, again, as I mentioned, I will go through in detail. When you stay till the end, I'll go through that get paid as soon as possible price, the ASAP price. There's going to be 3 steps to the first process. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you the number one truth about why the pricing that you might have is either going to make you or break you. This is a whole one thing that will change, honestly, everything for you today and always when it comes to your pricing. How do you determine what price is best for you? Most of you, I am going to guess because I have been in your shoes. I was discussing it with my peers. I was asking my husband, what do you think? Does this sound good? That's what I would say. Anybody else say that? I'm like, do you like this price? I was doing market research and I was comparing to other people. And then I know that I fell into the trap and have fallen into the same trap many times where I heard what I like to call the bro marketers, which I think are bogus, false, maybe not completely false, but they blow things up. I listen to them a lot about what pricing should be, high ticket pricing and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, when you do pricing that is wrong, for you and sometimes out of alignment with where you are in your business, you won't sell a thing. I'm telling you what, it really impacted my business because I wasn't paying attention to the pricing that I know would be right for me. Today, I want you to find out what you're missing on the pricing formula and just what you're thinking about your pricing and why it currently might not be working. And I would just add, if we're not making any offers at all, that also is an obvious problem that we're sometimes overlook. We're thinking our price is not right. And if you've only made your price offer to 10 people, your price is not the problem. The problem is you haven't offered it to enough people. It always ultimately comes down to the thing that we don't like to hear about, which is we need more people. We need to be in front of more people and making more offers. Good pricing, the way that I like to see it is I want to create a win for both you and for the client. For you, the pricing that matters first is not the number of sessions. Now, I know that's the whole thing about the offer, and we like to think that way. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit as we go, the number of weeks that you would meet with somebody. But typically, the way that we're taught to price is to say 6 weeks, and then we decide on a price that fits 6 weeks. Today, we're going to talk about profit. This would be completely different for every person in this room. What they need to make in their business or what they want to make is completely different. And I have to tell you, I talk to a lot of women. We have several women in our program that really don't need to make money. It's not, they're retired. And while it would be nice, it's not they're not main driving factor. So their pricing also would be different than a lot of other people's pricing. If you're like me, I'm a solid contributor to this household's expenses. So I have to make money. It's not really optional. This is my career. One of the biggest identity shifts that I help our coaches make from the very beginning is you are not a coach. You are the CEO of a coaching company. It does not matter if it is a company of one. If you start talking about having a coaching company to your friends and to whoever, like when they say, "What do you do now?" And you're like, "I have a coaching company." If you start talking like that, that will change your identity and change the perception of what people think about you. And then when you change that identity for yourself, you got to start thinking about what would a CEO say about pricing. We're not going to guess about pricing. We're not going to price the way we think we should, air quotes, what we should. We're going to price like a businesswoman would price her services. The CEO wants to know the facts. I'm going to take one step back. And for anyone that is new here, I talk a lot about a boutique, a business that is a brick and mortar business down the street from your house. We help women build boutique style coaching businesses. So small, intimate businesses, which is why I use the reference of a boutique. But if we think about a boutique, we know what the hours of operation are. We know what it costs to run that business. We know what it costs to pay the employees. That is how a CEO thinks. You're not just, let's see if I can sell some coaching. It's like, no, I have to make money. The other question that I would ask when it comes to somebody mentioned they're launching their business or relaunching their business, there's always that middle one there, which is how much do you already know about the online coaching business and where is your learning curve? This is important as the CEO of your coaching company to have expectations that are aligned. My expectations, I can tell you for sure, were always misaligned. I was listening to even my own coaches who were giving me numbers of what my business is worth or how much I should be charging. Even today, any new coach that I ever work with, they're always telling me that I'm undervaluing what I do. Look, I get to decide the value and so do you. Based on where you are in your business, you might not have as much evidence about your coaching. And so you might be either number one, have a big learning curve still, like learning how to market, how to sell, how to talk about your coaching, how to deliver your coaching, all that. That might be part of it that would impact your pricing. And then your pricing is going to be impacted if you have a team. Most of you are the team. Most of you are surprised. You're not just the coach, which you thought you were going to be. I just want to be a coach. You're the tech person, right? You're setting up all the tech. You are writing the marketing messages. You're having the sales conversations. You're doing everything and you had no idea for that. Eventually, once you get to where you have a team, that's another big piece. I have 4 people that work for me. And so the way that I think about my business is completely different because I have 5 people, myself included, that we have to pay. There cannot be any winging it on what we're going to do. We have to know where we're at in our pricing and with our business. Let me walk through this 3-part process. The first one, this is where I'm saying, now we're going to put on our thinking caps, guys. Start trying to answer this for yourself. The first decision that I need to know is, how many hours do you have to work in your business? Many people, including myself, would say, oh, this is my full time job. I can work whenever. Okay. That is not why we became coaches. Most of us became coaches not only because we wanted to help, but because we wanted freedom. We're working for ourselves because we don't want to tell our boss or ask permission to be off to do anything. That we are working for ourselves for freedom. It's important for you to know, what do you actually want time for? We intentionally decide what our business is going to be. That little girl right there is my granddaughter. She lives in the neighborhood and I can run up there on the golf cart and help her in the middle of the day. I went over to help her unload the dishwasher. She just turned 4. So that's us doing that. That's what I want freedom for, right? I want to pick them up after school. I want that. But it's important to know that we're also taking care of my mother in law. That's a different, I've already been over there today too. Knowing how much time you honestly have for your business is important because that's going to help us decide how much you're actually going to charge. What your ideal week would look like, it's time to design that. And you will start today with one schedule. And then as your business evolves and as your schedule evolves, I have been planning since February that I would be done. My days would be done at 3 o'clock starting August 11th because I'm going to start picking up after school starting August 11th. My whole schedule changed. You have to figure out what's going to happen for you. Time, I just have to say this because I heard somebody say this recently and I was like, oh my goodness, that is so true. And it's not said enough. Time is the one thing that you cannot get back, which is so obvious. But when we think about where we are in our business and the amount of time that you might be wasting trying to figure things out, trying to get your business going, thinking about your niche, worrying about your pricing. All that time is, I'm going to say, money lost, right? It's time that you can never get back. If you could put a dollar amount on all the hours that you have wasted as you are trying to get ready, that's all lost revenue that you can never get back because you can't get back the time. If you get this figured out, you can only multiply from here, right? The revenue will multiply from here. I really highly encourage you guys to take the time to learn how to get your business set and then be a really good decision maker. So you make a decision and you own it and you don't waffle around on it because that is what is costing you time that you can never get back. Future casting is looking at the business that you are working towards. I just already gave you an example, like leaving at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 days a week. That is future casting. I said, my business is going to be like this because this is the way it's going to support my life. Then I know what's available for me. So write down the word future casting in your notes. And I want you to spend some time thinking about what is the ideal schedule. And then I really want to challenge you. If you have a schedule that's 20 or 30 hours, I really want to challenge you to start honoring that schedule today, to start working like that today. If your calendar says you work from 9 to 3, then you get in here at 9 and you end at 3. And you're not working, your laptop is not with you and your phone. You're not doing that all the time. You are working the hours that you say because that's how you build the business that you want. That's how you avoid overwhelm and burnout. I'm just going to tell you. So, how many hours will you coach a week? Another thing that I learned that was inaccurate was I was like, I do this full time. This has been my full time career for 26 years. I could work 40 hours. I could have 40 clients, 40 hours. That does not work that way. Even if you had 30-minute coaching sessions, which we typically think of our coaching sessions as being 1 hour sessions, that doesn't have to be that way. In fact, I recommend that you make your individual coaching sessions about 50 minutes so that you can have just a tiny pause before the next client. But 20 clients does not equal 20 hours. You have to prepare for your clients. You have to prepare content. You have to get your mind prepared to go back, look at notes, right? You're going to be answering emails for them. We do reviews for clients. We review content and we review everything our clients do. That all takes time. How many hours does it take for you to do that for your clients? And then all the coaches that I know work with coaches, and that is part of your working hours. So while I look at my schedule, there is always a decision process of how many hours does that coach actually want to work with me? And how many hours maybe available coaching do they have? And what hours am I going to go to those coaching calls? I work with a coach that I have 5 hours of opportunity to go coach with her. I'm not going to. I'm going to go to the one session a week, even if I want to get my money's worth. How I get my money's worth is going to the one session a week, asking the key questions that I have, and taking the other 4 hours that I could be sitting on calls with her and using those for my business, for money making activities. So self-coaching is another part of it. I don't know how much you guys work on your mindset, but it is super important. The fastest One of the fastest ways to propel your business forward is to have your head on straight. Seriously. It's to know, to remind yourself what you're skilled at, is to remind yourself what is important to do, and again, to not get caught doing things that are not money making activities more often than not. And a lot of us do that. We're searching for an idea, searching for inspiration instead of taking action on the one thing that we should be doing. There's two ways to think about your time. There is the coaching, which is what I call working in your business. That's where you provide the service. But coaching is only one part of the equation. To become a profitable coach, you have to do the other part, which that's the working on your business. Okay. And that depends on how many hours do you need? That depends on what stage of business that you're at. It depends if you're doing it yourself. I can tell you 26 years in, I'm writing my own newsletters. I am scheduling my own newsletters. I have 4 people that work for me. I am recording my YouTubes according to my own outline. And I usually do the first editing pass. The amount of things that I am doing myself, you don't necessarily hand that stuff off because you know who the best marketer for your business is? You. I'm the best marketer for my business. Even if you're at a more advanced stage and there's people who can take it and schedule it for you or whatever. And that's not to downplay having a team is not important. It is. But I'm just saying you have to know what it's going to take for you to run your business. The biggest way to save time is to, as I already mentioned, quit looking for shortcuts, quit looking for arounds, quit looking for inspiration, quit rethinking what you've already decided. If you decide on a price today, there is no more thinking about it again. It is the price, period. We don't have to go back and figure it out again. We just need to market our business. All of that stuff takes time. What marketing do you need to learn? Because the pricing that I'm going to talk about, the number of clients that I'm going to talk about in just a minute, if you don't know how to market your business, none of the stuff that we talk about is going to matter today. If you don't know where your person is, I don't know where to find my people, another common problem. The pricing thing we're doing today is irrelevant. I want you to stay. I want you to learn it. But those are problems that you must identify about what is really going on. So have an honest conversation with yourself about this. I can tell you that it's never the economy. I've been in business 26 years. I've lived through all kinds of things in 26 years. It's never the economy. It's never the price either once you decide on it and once you know it's the right price for you. If you do the math about how many hours you're going to coach in your business and how many hours you're going to work in your business, the marketing, the creation mode, preparing for clients, answering emails, posting on social media, doing your accounting, all that stuff. How many hours total will that be? And that's the thing. If we go back to step one, I said, how many hours do you have that you're going to schedule in your business? You should know what that is based on the hours that you're going to work. How many hours total is that? How many hours do you have for your business is the real bottom line. When you do that math, let's set realistic expectations. I'm calling myself out on all this because if I do this stuff, I'm not alone. I can tell you guys are probably doing it or will do it. I always underestimate how much time it takes to do something still today. When I am writing a newsletter that I'm going to put on Substack, I always underestimate how much time it's going to take, that I put it on the newsletter, that I double check it, all the stuff. I send a copy to myself. I still underestimate. So you got to be realistic with the time and the effort that it takes, just the time that it takes to do your business. The second thing that we must know about pricing before we make your price is your income. What income level do you want to be at? But here's the thing that I find out for most people is they don't actually know how much money they need to have. Now that sounds ridiculous, but I am talking about your personal life, like what are your responsibilities and your business life, because it's all one now. What are your expenses on a month to month basis in your business and in your life? Once you know that, then we're going to set a price. Your income goal in the second part is going to be based on what we need to earn to cover, it's going to be the bare minimum pricing to cover our expenses. That's just the first level. And then another really important question to ask is, do I want to take payments or do I want to be paid in full? A lot of people think a membership is going to be the right answer. And what a membership is a low priced, there's over a 50% churn rate, which means 50% of the people are going out every month. And you got to have a lot of people coming in to ever get anywhere. Membership is typically not the answer, but it would either be like pay in full to work with me or make 6 monthly payments. How do you want to do it for your business? When we think about business expenses, I actually teach all the technology to the clients that we work with. And I really am conscientious about software costs because you can eat up money so fast. This is what we recommend for our clients to use. Now, whatever you're already using, it is totally fine. Don't change, don't buy anything different. We work with whatever you're using, but you can use free versions. I remember finding out, okay, I needed a calendar. And I immediately signed up for a calendar, the paid version. You don't need a paid version of your calendar until you need more than one calendar link. Zoom, use the free version if you're guaranteed your calls are going to be about 30 minutes. Because y'all know the free version, the reason why I say do not use this is because it cuts off at 40 minutes. And then email marketing, you can use free tools. We recommend Flowdesk. All of those things combined cost about $100 a month. I want to stress to you guys what an unbelievable opportunity coaching is. I do not know any other business that you can have a business that could earn you. You could name the price, honestly, that can earn you $24,000. I'm going to do the math on 24,000, but you can multiply it to 100, whatever, for $100 a month. I tell our clients that you can keep this same software setup for $100 a month until you have exceeded $100,000 a year. The other fee, business expense on top of that is going to be coaching, because I do recommend that you work with a coach. Very difficult to run your business without one. I'm just going to tell you. Then when we think about your income goals, I just mentioned income goal number 1, which was we're going to cover the bare expenses. That is the good goal. That, like, how much does it cost for you to live, groceries, your business, the $100 a month, the coach that you're working with, what does that cost? That's your income goal on an annual basis. Then the better goal is the bare minimum plus something. And I have had clients get really creative with this to make this fun. I have a client that decided her bare minimum, then her better goal, which is on top of that, was going to be her better part of her goal was going to be take her entire family to Disney for 2 weeks, all expenses paid, and stay on Disney property. And the craziest thing is, I live in Oklahoma and she lives in Oklahoma, and I actually ran into her in the Orlando airport. They were all wearing their Disney clothes as they were coming home from Disney for this trip. You can get creative and have this thing that will really inspire you, this thing that you're working for. She had it on her vision board, that Disney vacation that she paid for. Then the third goal is going to be what I would call your biggest goal. You guys probably have heard me say $1 Million Debbie. That was an identity a few years ago that I decided I was going to have. Who is $1 Million Debbie? because that was then the level 3 goal. What is your that version for you? And the reason why I want you to have a goal like that, you guys can take Million Dollar Debbie and just put your name in there. Whatever that is, that goal actually changes you. It's not just so much about changing your business, but you actually have to become a person who can have $1 million business. You have to become a person who can, if you want that, maybe you don't want it, but I'm just saying, whatever that goal number is, maybe it is $100,000. You have to be the person who can support that many clients, who can manage a team, who is a leader, who is on marketing themselves consistently. Those are the three income goals. Now let's look at the time and money breakdown. So I am putting $24,000 here because it's a simple math thing for us to all follow. All you have to do is multiply this by however many times you want. Okay. The first thing we have to consider is how many weeks are we actually working a year? Many of you guys are like, I'm not going to take off 6 weeks vacation, but I'm going to point out to you 46 weeks a year. There's 52 weeks in a year. I'm going to bet you're going to work 46 weeks. First of all, as a solopreneur, everything is on you. You need a break to refuel. And we came to work for ourselves for freedom. You're going to be off over the winter holidays. And if you said, I don't need 2 weeks off, what I'll tell you is your clients want off. So 2 weeks off over the winter holidays. I would say 1 week in the spring, 1 week in the fall, 6 weeks from your last job. You need it. It's just, you just need the time to refuel and to get creative again. So that means that we're going to work 46 weeks. You guys figure out what it is for you. Because we don't have paid vacation as a coach, we make our own paid vacation. We're only earning money 46 weeks a year. You guys with me? 46 weeks we make money. If we take the 24,000 number that I just said and you work 46 weeks, that means we make $522 every week that we work. I'm going to show you what the numbers are and how I got to that. If you have to make to get to $522 per week, now this is where this comes in of how many clients are we going to have and how many hours do we need to work in our business? I'm going to go back to this 20-hour work week. A lot of you would love to have 5-hour work days, 4 days a week. Like Monday through Thursday, you work 5-hour days and you're off on Friday. That would be a dream for a lot of people. Let's just say it's 20 hours. Out of those 20 hours, if you're starting your business, a minimum of 15 of those hours is working on your business. It is figuring out how to do the social media posts. I'm growing TikTok. I'm learning how to go viral on TikTok. I am spending a whole bunch of my time on TikTok. What are you doing in those hours? In the beginning, it's a lot. And then if you learn something new, like I am right now, Lord, I'm spending a lot of time is money on learning TikTok. So that means if you work 15 hours in your business, you have 5 hours left to coach. So if you deposit $522 a week, 5 hours of coaching, that means your hourly coaching rate is $105. I hope everybody followed that because now we're not guessing at what we're going to make. If we have 5 clients consistently all year long and we work 46 weeks with 5 clients and we charge $105 an hour, we will make $24,000. Okay. If you want more, you just double it, right? It's just simply that. Or you decide to do a group program and you're like, I don't have the bandwidth to do this, or I work full time. A lot of people work full time. This is their side hustle. So how am I going to do this? So this would be working double, but also as you progress in your business, you might spend half of your time working on your business and half coaching. You're going to get better at the business skill. So half and half. I'm going to be honest with you though. I still probably spend 75% of my time marketing, working, and I should say working on my business. Okay. When you know the truth, it is so much easier for you to meet your money goals. And one of the biggest things that changes about this is you know your value. Because I just explained to you that if you want to have paid vacation and if you want to deposit $522 a week into your account from your coaching and you're going to work with 5 clients, your value is $105 per hour of coaching. So now when we say, I'm going to be working with this client for 12 weeks, what is the pricing? We know what it's going to be. You might say, okay, it's 1250. That's how much it's actually going to cost, or $1,300 or 1297 to work with me. And you know with certainty, oh, I can cover my expenses. This is going to work out okay. What happens when you know that is you just show up so much more confidently. When you state your price to the person, you won't feel salesy, you won't feel pushy. So, do you understand how that comes together? Your coaching income, the 5 hours, pay for your total company work hours. That's the key thing. Okay. You're earning 5 hours to pay for 20 hours of work all year long. Maybe you might be saying, but what is my coaching going to look like? That's the third step here. Third part of this is if it's not adding up, like this isn't going to work, the math isn't going to add up correctly, what should I do? And maybe you decide you're going to do group coaching. That was a maybe do group coaching. Group coaching, there can be many variations of that. You can do group coaching, you do private onboarding, you can have extra sessions built in there, you can do private coaching. Our VIP coaching is where we review everything that our clients create so they're sure that their marketing is done correctly. And I have the word passive on there because I really just want to point out to you guys nothing is passive. Nothing. That is another kind of BS bogus story online. You can record a video and leave it there one time for somebody to watch the same video over and over. That is passive. But having a business, there's nothing about business that is passive. So you don't sit back and make money off of something just because you had the video recorded. You still have to sell it. Okay. So if you have limited hours for coaching, I'm going to tell you a client story here in just a minute. This is Joe. I'll give her full rundown on the next slide. She had 5 hours to work on her business. She said, that's all I have. I said, okay. What are you thinking? She said, I'm going to have 5 clients. I said, no, you cannot do that. There's no way. So what I said is you can only have 1 hour of coaching, one. And that means that if you want to get to your income goal, which she wanted to make $100,000, you have to do group coaching. There's no other way. So she actually never coached one client private. The very first launch that she did, and she launched her business in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. She said, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. She decided what her price was going to be. You can do the same thing. If it's the $105 pricing, you can take it times 8 people. That means now you make basically $800 an hour. And if you're going to do that 1 hour per week times 46 weeks, now you're talking about $36,000 a year. Okay. So Joe, what she did was in her 4 hours a week, she had coaching on Sunday evenings at 5. And she made $100,000 in 9 months. And I'm going to give you the breakdown. Her program was 12 weeks. She was a weight loss coach, a macro based weight and fitness coach. Her program was 12 weeks for $750. And she let people pay her every month. So 250, 250, 250. If you have 45 clients, and because of the nature of her business, they renewed and they renewed. Some people bought a year at a time. They renewed. So if you had 45 clients that renewed 3 times, that's what got her to $100,000. And then what she did was because she works full time, she added accountability coaches that were just paid per client. They were paid per client to be able to support that coach each week. And that way she could scale and have that many people, 45 clients at a time. That's possible, absolutely possible for you to do that as well. This particular client is one of my favorite stories to share. Coach Eileen is in Colorado and she was only available at 6:30 in the morning. And I have to admit, when she told me what her schedule was, I had a moment of this is not going to work. Most of our clients who work full time, they coach in the evening. And she said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to coach in the morning. And I was like, okay. At 6:30 a.m., she sold her first client at 6:30 a.m. and she immediately raised her price. She said, 6:30 in the morning is valuable time to me. Now that I've worked with one client, I'm going to make the next 6:30 a.m. spot a premium price because I want to be paid for that time, the 6:30 a.m. time. I'm just sharing those examples to just show you. Coach Eileen was sold out with 2 clients. So she could name her price differently on her second client because she said, "Look, I can only work with 2 people at a time. That's it. I have one time during the week or one time slot, 6:30 a.m. That's what time I can work with you." And by the way, just a little caveat, because she's mountain time, 6:30 a.m. for East Coast is actually 8:30. So it works out okay, at least or 7:30 Central Time. Some of that kind of works out okay. So there are countless options for creating coaching offers to support your money and your time goals. Now, I mentioned to you at the beginning that I wanted to make it a win for you and a win for them. And I can tell you for sure that when the pricing is a win for you, like when we know we're making enough per hour to take care of our expenses and to be paid what you really deserve as a professional, the win for your client is you are a much better coach because you're not burned out, you're not resentful, you're not all kinds of things. You show up as an empowered coach because you are being paid the value that you deserve. I really want to encourage you. It's a win for both of you guys. It's not going to be a problem. Whatever you price your coaching at that works for you is the best price. So let me recap this. There was the 3 steps that I talked about. How many hours you have, and again, that's working in your business, on your business, the income levels. I mentioned the good, better, best, and then the style of coaching that you want to have. And it can be anything. Please, any kind of coaching works. We have a coach that's in our program. She hired a coach that she only does text messaging with. And that's what she wanted. She said, "I don't have time to even have a Zoom session with somebody. I'm busy. I got 3 kids. I only want to text message with somebody." So your coaching can be any format you want. There is always a buyer for it. So most coaches are spending far too much time planning and thinking about their price. I remember spending weeks on my price, weeks on it, like somehow calculating and looking and researching to see what somebody else did. It only matters for you what your price is. Okay, I'll give that second pricing process here in just a minute. I want to talk to you about building your boutique style coaching business, what probably has been revealed to you about time and money and your goals and how to fill the gap. I also just want to mention to you, for those of you who have just never gotten your business started, I'm going to tell you, I did this research last night. I double checked my numbers. I was going to go into a whole thing over this. I will tell you just briefly the number for 2026 that's estimated is not just $1 billion, it's 1.6 billion. It is a huge amount. And I was like, okay, if a coach worked 10 hours a week coaching and I did it by the $100, I averaged $100. It's like there's enough business for 50,000 coaches in the US to make that kind of money. Now, I know a lot of coaches make more than that. I'm just saying, you guys, the opportunity of what the market is bearing, and this is based on what was in 24 and 25. This isn't a made up number. This is estimated growth based on the curve that we're in right now. So there is massive opportunity for you. You just have to put yourself out there. You can't be the best kept secret. You got to put yourself out there so people know you exist. Most of you guys want a small portion of the billion plus, a small portion. I mapped out to you the 24,000 process. It can be 24,000 times 3 and you'd be up to what's that, 73,000 or 72,000, whatever that is. And maybe that's what you do in your semi-retired. I know a lot of you guys are semi-retired. Some of you, this is your full-time gig, like it is for me. So again, it's only going to work though if you know how to market and sell your clients. I like to talk about having a comfortable conversation, which is a whole nother training. How do you have a sales conversation and actually sell somebody? So you get to decide. These are the decisions that I want you to make. I want you to decide, again, the hours, the income, and your schedule, your annual schedule, and then what kind of coaching you're going to deliver. Those 3 things I mentioned to you a minute ago, write down the word future casting. These things right here, number of hours, right? Your price and the style of coaching. All of that should be decisions that should be made. So we don't leave today with an open loop of what is my price going to be. Let's decide what it's going to be. Okay. So, knowing the price is one thing, but I have to point out the obvious, which is how do you get 5 clients? Is there anybody in here that's working with 5 or more clients currently? If you're just getting started, how do you even get 5 clients? Because it's not 5 conversations, just so you know. 5 clients for a new coach is probably more like 20 conversations. So that's 20 consultations to get 5 clients. I'll just even go one step further. How do you get 20 consultations? Super important question because, again, the pricing doesn't really matter. What will be your marketing to reach $522 worth of revenue every week to get 20 consultations? And I don't know how long you're going to have people working with you, but there's a churn rate there. Are they going to renew and stay with you? Joe's program worked really well because most people ended up working with her for a year. Once they lost the weight, then they wanted to improve their muscle mass. So it really worked out well. Marketing is the only path to clients. Right now, there's a lot of on YouTube and various places, there's lots of people selling you software that are like, you have to get a client management system and you have to get this and that. I just want to tell you something that should be obvious, but it's not. The software doesn't have anything to do with getting clients. Getting your business set up doesn't have anything to do with clients. I know you want to have your business set up and everybody that I work with wants to do it right. So I respect that, but none of that is going to get you a client. Even having a website, which we help people build websites, will not get you a client unless somebody knows they should go look for it. Okay. So it all comes back to that you talking to people, finding your people and talking to them. So if the idea of posting on social media, which I know most of you guys don't want to do, telling people that you're a coach, doing email marketing, being on YouTube, having a podcast. There are so many options. I only teach free marketing. So there's so many options. I'm going to share with you that last pricing process in just a second. So you do have pricing only as one part of the equation because there's going to be questions still about niche. There's going to be questions that I keep saying, where do I find my people? You're still not going to be sure about your offer. We know what the price is per hour, but we don't know what the offer is. Social media, do I sound good? How long should my thing be? The reel be? How should I edit? All of that. If you hate sending emails, if you're that person that's like, I am not going to spam somebody's email box, then what are you going to do? All of those questions have to be answered. So, in order to have the income you desire, you got to solve the marketing problem. Where will you market and what will you say? After 26 years in business, I can tell you what will you say might be the most important piece of your marketing altogether because explaining coaching to somebody who doesn't know what it is, nearly impossible. I'm just going to tell you, nearly impossible. It's you might think it sounds so obvious, but remember, you're already evolved and they're not, right? They're the person who's knee deep in a problem. So your niche, your marketing, your offers, that gap will keep you stuck. Getting clients is a skill that is learned one time. This is a big missing piece. One time you learn how to do this stuff and you earn money from that one skill for a lifetime. And the second pricing process to become a paid coach fast, and the number one mistake that people make, I'm going to do that first, is misalignment with your pricing. If you go through all that math that we just did, and it comes up with a price, and you sit with that price and you say that price, if there is any part of you that feels salesy or pushy or like, oh, I don't know, you might as well not try to BS your way out of it. You might as well be honest with yourself because that is the number one reason why people don't sell their coaching. We have a client who we adore that we had a conversation with about pricing when it finally got down to it. And I said, could you get $100 if somebody handed you $100 for an hour working with you? How would you feel about that? And she said, not good, because she's just not sure about the results that she can deliver because she hasn't been paid, right? That's an honest answer. If she was selling her coaching for $100 or more, she'd never sell any of it because that thought is in her mind. Like, I'm just not sure. So please don't let anyone else tell you your price. Don't ask anybody else's opinion. Nobody. The only person that should decide on your price is you. This is, again, the biggest mistake. Your price that you should come up with should be something, I call it a hell yes price, where you are like, you are absolutely crazy if you don't work with me for that price. It has to be a price that you believe is right. And what happens is most of us price the way we think we should. And I would say 99% of the time, the price that you think you should is almost higher than what you are ready to charge. You cannot compare yourself to somebody that's talking about some higher price if you have zero experience. You can't. I have to be honest with you guys. But you will very quickly, once you decide on a price, your must buy price, you will very quickly elevate your price. So nobody else decides what that should be. I'm going to guarantee you right now, have a gut price. I said 105, and I could almost bet that's probably aligned with just about everybody. But if I would have come on here and said 400 an hour, there'd have been a lot of people that have been like, wait a minute. You have to check with your inner knowing. For me, that is super important. If you don't feel aligned with that price, don't even offer it to anyone. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to become a paid coach ASAP. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to price one single hour, one session. I know that is not what you want to do. I know you want to have a program. I know you want to do all those things. But I'm just telling you, when you get paid for 1 hour of coaching, it's going to change you. You guys remember back in the day at a restaurant, there was a dollar bill taped on the counter, or it was framed hanging on the wall. That was evidence to that restaurant owner that somebody paid me for my services and I'm in business. I want you to figure out a price for a single session, and $100 is a good idea. We've had clients that do 3 sessions for $300. We've had some clients do 4 sessions for 100. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but that is, I would say, the number one strategy for pricing. Let's pick a price for 1 hour and let's make that offer until we get paid for it. Now, how you elevate your price is because if you sell some of those sessions for, let's say, $100, and you have 5 people that get that $100 pricing, what will happen is you will start to say, like, there is no way that the next person that works with me is paying $100. No way, because what I'm giving them is worth more than that. And you will move up to 150 and it will be easy for you to sell. So you will elevate your way up there pretty quickly. So make sure that you feel aligned with the price. Nothing feels salesy. You're not going to ask anyone else. One of the best ways to avoid imposter syndrome is to have the right price. If you overprice your coaching, then you start to question, did they get the value for that 1 hour of coaching? Imposter syndrome is something else I hear from many of you. So if you did not price your coaching right and that thought is coming up, number one, you're either coaching on something you should not be coaching on, or number two, you have overpriced your services. So make sure, for where you are today, you guys, you're all going to get there. Right now, I'm just trying to get you making money. You're all going to get there. Okay. So your price, nobody needs to agree. It is your individual decision. I would not ask your partner. I would not ask your friend. I would not discuss it with anyone. I would sell your coaching, feel good about it, and get paid at that price until you're ready to move on to the next one. Okay. So you decide. Do you have a price? If you've never been paid for a 1 hour single session, what will it be? Because that's my next challenge. I want you to become a paid coach. I'd like you to do it immediately. Go reach out to anybody that you know, any Facebook friend, whether you think they're the right client or not, and say, I've opened up 3 sessions for next week. I'll just pick the $100 price again. $100, 3 sessions. Do you know anybody who needs support on this thing? And you keep calling and messaging and texting until you sell those 3 sessions. And then we'll worry about CEO pricing. Now you know how to do the math, so you can get there.